When the original Optimus Prime toy came out in 1984, I was only 2 years old, a little butterball with a lot to give. I didn't care about Transformers, I cared about Care Bears, especially Wish Bear. Look, I got my first true Optimus Prime toy in 1989 with Power Master Optimus Prime.
Power Master Optimus Prime is making a beeline straight to your asshole.
And I say true Optimus Prime because I did use the white Ultra Magnus Inner Robot as the ghost of Optimus Prime until then. I think that's a universal shared memory for most folks my age. Power Master Prime is fantastic, it's so robust and full of features, and if I'm honest, whenever I saw that original G1 toy on a TV show or at a friend's house, it always looked so insubstantial, less dynamic, a bit too boxy, which is a bit bloody rich when you consider Power Master Prime. It wouldn't be until the early 2000s when I'd pick up the commemorative G1 reissue, more out of curiosity than nostalgia. My interest in Transformers picked up considerably in 2002 with Dreamwave's comics hitting the shelves, and yeah, the marketing machine hit me like a psychological blockbuster. And getting the G1 Prime home, there wasn't necessarily any nostalgia for the toy itself, but to own the original Optimus Prime, it almost felt like a rite of passage. You know, something I had to experience for myself, and once I did, I absolutely fell in love with it. Power Master Prime's going for something wholly different, but that original toy is just so incredibly elegant in its execution. It does so much with such a simple sculpt, and it absolutely nails it on every single aspect. Coupled with the trailer and the accessories, G1 Optimus Prime, in terms of a toy everyone can enjoy, I believe it is the greatest Transformers toy of all time. It's maybe not my ultimate favourite, but I'm happy to put it on top because Prime here is marvellous. So when I heard about the Missing Link line, that's toys for the 40th anniversary of Transformers, where we'd get releases that looked and felt like these original toys from 1984, but with modern concessions for articulation, I wondered just how much they could really do with Prime. The original Optimus doesn't really need much done to it to bring it screaming into 2024, and indeed when you pick up Missing Link for the first time, you might actually think you're holding that original toy from 1984. It feels very similar to what you hold in your head as G1 Optimus Prime, and I adore the overall look already, of course. You know, it's Optimus Prime in his definitive look, those yellow eyes, the silver legs, that front grille. It's my dad, you know, I love him. I went for the toy version of this release. There's also an anime version, which is more G1 cartoon accurate. I wasn't as bothered with that one because despite having a whole box full of trailers gathering dust, it didn't come with one like the toy version did. And I'm not going to run down every change they've made, but there's some pretty big ones for sure. Like for me, the biggest one is those hands. On the original, they were separate pieces you had to pop off when you wanted to transform the toy. But on Missing Link, they're integrated. And not only that, they've got hinges that allow the hands to open and close, which is marvellous. The front wheels come out on these little skirts, which means you can extend the legs out a little more. And there's even an ab crunch, which needs some real force to do it for the first time. Now, instead of stickers on the legs and arms, we've got these actually sculpted in, moulded details, which are so satisfying to rub your finger over. It's like they took a step forward in bringing this thing into the real world with this kind of stuff. No theatre of the mind here. Feel that detail. In the original Optimus Prime, you opened the cab section and got these little seats. Not massively exciting, so what's different with Missing Link? Time to open the fucker. Inside we've got this very ostentatious chest plate with an equally gaudy matrix of leadership front and centre. It's nice, eh? And removable, as is the chest plate if you're looking for even more accuracy in the re-release. But I really dig it. It doesn't get in the way at all and it adds a little bit more detail. But yeah, it's all small changes that make a huge difference. Proper neck swivel, waist swivel, ankle tilts, better freedom of movement in the arms. It's spectacular. My only small gripe is that I wish the head was on a ball joint or something that allowed him to look up a little bit. It's just that head on a swivel. It's a small thing, but something that would ramp up the posing potential. But in terms of posing, it's obviously so far above what we've had in this last 40 years. You're pulling off poses hitherto undreamt of. Seeing Optimus Prime dab was a pipe dream until Missing Link. They're doing God's work here, people. In terms of accessories for the robot mode, we've got this Energon axe that opens up and clasps over the hand, so it isn't going anywhere. I don't mind an Energon axe, you know, it's fine. Just don't give me 50 spare heads and hands and we're good. Prime's Ion Blaster now has two decent chunky 5mm posts, and he can actually hold it properly, unlike the G1 version, and he can even double hand the thing. Incredible. I won't lie, getting this in hand, seeing how much they've packed in, and the effect it has on something you know so intimately, it was the tiniest bit emotional for me. It's the thing that I know inside out, transformed 1,000 times over so many incarnations, and here it is, same as it ever was, but future-proofed. You know, Optimus Prime is here forever, you know? I know these things are products created originally by uncaring people to sell toys to stupid kids, and that marketing machine continues to rumble over us well into 2024, but I'm not going to tell you Optimus Prime doesn't mean something to me. I love the boy, and seeing this refreshed take just filled me with a joy that no other release has in the last decade at least. The thing I really wondered about before this guy arrived was how would it have an effect on my day-to-day life? Which sounds crazy, I know, but between TRDQ and my collection in general, there isn't a day goes by that I don't interact with Transformers on some level. I have a lot of Optimus Prime toys, but considering just that G1 mould, I've got the re-release, we've got Generation 2 Prime, there's Pepsi Prime, and as we mentioned, the inner robot for Ultra Magnus, each has a different look, but essentially they're all the same toy. But if I get that itch to mess with Optimus Prime, I can take any of these off the shelf and have a grand time. And I do it fairly often, maybe once a month or so. The real test for me is whether missing Link is going to provide me with that definitive Prime. Will I just reach for this instead of those? Has this rendered those other versions obsolete? And the answer is, I don't know yet. I don't think so. I think that's why I waited so long to do this review. I wanted to see how my feelings would change, not only on this toy, but on the other toys. Like, I love Pepsi Prime, right, but he can't do this. Even in the transformation, it's so close to that quick, couple of seconds setup that I've burned into my muscle memory over the last few decades. It's not exactly the same. There's a new leg setup, meaning you have to bring the legs together in order to swing the whole lot 90 degrees. And the hands pegging into the sides takes a bit of getting used to, but when you consider the faffing around, the taking off the original's hands, I can't imagine there's much difference between the two in terms of time to transform. I'd test that theory for this video, but then again, I think this is going over long as it is. The truck mode is just perfect. It remains my favourite incarnation of the Optimus truck mode. Those little horns, the rubber wheels, the proportions are just so adorably perfect. And it rolls like a dream. It looks incredible. They've nailed it, folks. But what about the rest of it? I honestly assumed that the trailer was going to be a straight up re-release of the original. I didn't expect any kind of update, which shows how financially irresponsible I was back in those heady days of 2023. The trailer is at first glance the same as the original, but opening it up you see that things have changed somewhat. The only major thing that bugged me was the launcher gimmick for Roller was gone. But besides that, you know, we've still got the hose and the fuel pump and those incredible, almost Jack Kirby-like stickers. The other big change is the repair drone. It's so much beefier in this version, very chunky and satisfying. And this time the whole thing can come off the combat deck and ride around, repairing whatever it wants. The updates to the trailer clearly aren't as in-depth as Optimus themselves, but I appreciate the little features. The Optimus Prime toy is the star of the show, of course, but this trailer makes it a playset of sorts, a fantastic one at that. Even Roller got an upgrade before you could place the ion cannon on top, but if that seems a bit too violent a time for the wee man, you can rotate it out and have this cute little red light. Missing Link Prime is perfect, well, nearly perfect, but as perfect as we're likely to see. Adding more to it doesn't feel like an option without taking away the integrity of what that thing is. It feels like the true limit of what's possible for the G1 toy, and I love that. You know, I don't need it to self-transform or talk me off in Peter Cullen's voice. It just needs to do what it's doing. And time will tell if this becomes my go-to Prime. You know, once the shine comes off this recent release, will it be the Prime I choose to spend my time with? I'm leaning towards yes right now, but who knows how I'll feel in 6 months? Who knows if any of us will even be here in 6 months? Think about that. For a franchise which is currently knee-deep in revamps of old characters, adding articulation at the cost of what made us fall in love with them in the first place, it's good to see something like this, where it feels like the thing you fondly remember, but it goes beyond your expectations and improves upon them. I wish we didn't have to spend so much to experience that, of course, but what are we supposed to do? Save our money for a rainy day? It's chucking it down out there, folks. Whew, that took longer than expected. There's honestly so much we could go into here, but we're here for a good time, not a long time here at TRDQ. But thanks to everyone who supported the channel on patreon.com/TRDQ, especially patron Peter Hammerson, who picked G1 Scorponok as their favourite toy of all time. A belter of a choice, absolutely in my top 5, so look, I don't know what more you want from me. Alright, Peter, well done. Bye.